This is Mike Dunne, wine columnist for the Sacramento Bee and sacbee.com. Today, we're at the Sacramento Convention Center for the 14th Unified Wine and Grape Symposium, the nation's largest gathering of the wine trade, with 10,000 grape growers, winemakers, and other members of the industry on hand. We're going to go take a look at some of the obvious and some not so obvious expenses that an aspiring grape grower and winemaker are likely to face.
This New Holland TN95F is built for vineyards. It has several features on it with the super steer front end. It gives you a super tight turning radius. It is 60 inches wide overall. You've got 80 PTO horsepower for your sprayers, trimmers, or anything like that.
It says biodiesel on it. Is that the fuel?
That is the fuel. It'll go either way. Brand new list price on them is about $45. We're selling them for right in there. We've got rental returns in about the $36,000.
We produce American oak barrels, source a lot of our wood right there in the Ozark Mountains. We also produce a lot of French oak barrels. We have a stave mill in the northeast corner of France. We have European oak barrels as well that we source from various forests east of the French border, so we have a variety of different kinds of wood. And we're in the cooperage business, making great barrels. You know, French oak barrels today are going to be anywhere from, $1,000 or a little bit more, down to maybe $600, $650.
Let me show you a couple things that you might be interested in. This one is a nice looking bottle, I think, for Zinfandel. It's a little bit heavyweight, but not super over the top. I think it just kind of looks like a Zinfandel bottle. This is a nice domestic bottle as well. It's made in Seattle. That would be appropriate for Zinfandel.
Now, both of these bottles could be recycled?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The prices, what would I be looking at when it comes to setting my budget for these bottles?
This would be under $10 a case.
Okay, so Zork is what is some people call an alternative closure. It replaces corks and capsules in a bottle, and it's applied by simple downward pressure. And so once it's locked on the bottle, the only way to get it off is to pull out the tamper-evident tear band. And then once you pull that off, then it just pops like a cork, and you have a reusable stopper. So if you're going to put a natural cork, you're probably going to put in an aluminum or a tin foil. So you're probably talking $800, $900, $1,000, so $1 for the package. These run, depending on volumes, if you're buying fewer than 10,000, it's $240 per thousand, so 24 cents a piece.
Getting in the way of a label for a wine bottle that I really want to jump off from the shelf.
You need to decide on, well, you need to work with a graphic artist, unless you have your own staff graphic artists, to select a design that you think meets your standards and will be attractive to the kind of consumers that you want to attract.
The labels, the display that we have here shows labels that are printed on tree-free paper and labels printed with soy inks. And that is probably the biggest trend going now.
Caves offer many advantages. Not only are they cost competitive when compared to above ground buildings, but they also offer benefits that above ground buildings cannot offer. They offer a stable environment, relatively consistent temperature, humidity. They don't need to be maintained like an above ground building. They don't use valuable vineyard space to be taken out. They're just tunneled directly underneath the vineyards. We do personal wine caves to 1,000 square foot and commercial wine caves to 50,000 square feet. As a budgetary number, I would say probably in the area of $150 a square foot.
We sell a plastic mesh fence that's very effective for deer control. Well, the deer fence we sell is 7.5 to 8 foot high. That's usually tall enough to keep them from jumping over and getting into the enclosure. The price varies from under $1 to $2 per linear foot.
It's interesting, perhaps as a woman, I try to look at devices that help move things within the winery. For instance, barrel washing. And a traditional method is to bend over, hook up a water hose, rinse out the inside of a barrel, but it kills your back and it takes forever and it doesn't do a very good job. Now they're more automated systems where you can forklift 2 barrels on a barrel rack, and they're jets that move into the barrel that very thoroughly clean the barrel. You can monitor how much hot water, how much cold water, hook up ozone if you choose. It's really worth every penny if your winery requires barrels.
Here at the Wine Symposium, we focus on ergonomics, although we do a wide variety of equipment. We have a vacuum hoisting device that will lift cases at the end of the bottling line by simply attaching the unit to the box and having the unit do the lifting for you. No back strain. We have a rotating table that the more weight applied to it, the lower it goes. And instead of having to lean over a pallet with a load on your back, you can bring the empty corner of the pallet towards you. For the vacuum device, you're probably looking at somewhere between $8,000 and $11,000, depending on how you're going to suspend the unit at your particular facility and what kind of a head you're looking for to lift however many boxes you wanted to lift. For something simpler with a hand stack operation, the turntable runs about $2,500.
Winemakers have a saying, sure, you can become a millionaire in the wine business, but it helps to start out with $2 million. It might not take quite that much to plant a vineyard and build a winery. But as we've seen, land, vines, and labor are just the start of the cost of becoming a vintner. This is Mike Dunne, wine columnist for SacBee.com and the Sacramento Bee.